Welcome back. Super excited moving forward. In this lesson, I'm going to demonstrate how to create and take a look at our sample Hello World app. Of course, just like anything, right? When we're jumping into something from the very basics, this is the motto of new developers where we always demonstrate the Hello World app, okay? So I'm going to demonstrate Hello World, but of course, as a practice, you could then take a look at other samples that you could install and configure by yourself. So let me go ahead, jump right in and demonstrate how to import a sample Hello World mobile app. So to do this, what you need to do is click on File from within the Android Studio and click on or navigate to New. And then from this menu, you'll notice you can import a sample. So I'm going to choose Import Sample. This will bring up a dialog box and will give me several options that I can in fact import into Android Studio from among the samples. If I scroll down, there's a whole list of this, and you can again take a look at the list. If you have any questions, feel free to post in the discussion area. So I'm going to navigate all the way down to Instant Apps, and from the Instant Apps category, I'm going to select Hello World. Once again, gives me a little description. The sample app demonstrates how to build and install an instant app with the same behaviors using the Java programming language. You could also use the instant app Hello World using the Kotlin language. So it's really up to you. I'm going to choose Java because I may also give you different lessons on Java programming language as well, so you get comfortable with coding as well. So once you have selected the Hello World app, go ahead, click Next. Here's the application name. By default, it picks up the Instant Apps - Hello World. Change it to a different name perhaps. You can say My First Hello World. And here's the GitHub URL. This is where the sample is going to come from. So if you don't or you're not familiar with GitHub, I'll throw in some lessons as a bonus at the end so you're comfortable with creating your own GitHub repository, because as software developers, it's important to have a GitHub repository. And the reason being because eventually you'll be building up your profile as a developer. So having a GitHub account, if you do not have it, just navigate to github.com and open a free account. And feel free to browse different repositories and so on. I'll give you a link of my GitHub account so you can kind of take a look at this. So all you have to do is just click on this URL. This will take you to the repositories that I have. And likewise, you can create your own account. But let's move on, continuing on with our Hello World app. So all you have to do here is just give an application name, the project location, which is the local folder on your computer. And next is just finish. So I'm going to go ahead and click on finish. And this is going to spin up the app by downloading the entire project from the GitHub repository. It's going to download the zip archive, and then once all the downloads is completed, all the packages are downloaded, it's going to create a new app for us. And there we go. Perfect. Congratulations. You've just ported the sample My First Hello World app within Android Studio. Notice on the bottom in the window here, it's still syncing, right? So there are two things that are happening. It's still syncing up with all these files, right? Pulling all the files. And on the bottom right, you'll notice it says 2 processes are running, which is on the status bar. If I were to click on this, it just gives me the actual details of the background tasks that are being executed. So the indices are being updated and it's refreshing the Gradle project. And once again, Gradle is the build tool that in fact builds the app for you. And you can also see within the build tab the actual actions or the processes and steps that are being built while the app is being created for you. So it takes a little while, sometimes a few seconds, sometimes it's fast, slow, depending upon your internet connection itself. So once everything is built, you will see the related folders. So we'll just wait till the build is finished. Perfect. So once the build has completed successfully, notice the status bar does not show any processes running, right? So everything is finished. So congratulations, once again, you have successfully imported a sample app. Now within the editor window on the left navigation pane here, notice there are multiple folders such as feature, there's installed, and then of course our Gradle scripts. So within the feature folder, there's a subfolder called Java. It shows you all of the dependencies. And then you have the manifest file, such as the Android manifest.xml. And then your resources folder is also available, where it contains the map where the images may reside, and the values folder, which shows your colors, strings, and styles. And these are XML files. So you can explore by expanding each one of these so you can get a fair idea of how the Hello World app looks like as far as its structure. So for instance, let me take a look at the Hello activity here under the Java subfolder. So if I were to navigate to Hello activity, which is again on my navigation bar, I can click on this, or I can double click on the Hello activity test. This is again the Java class that I can take a look at. Similarly, I have all of these other options that I can choose to view for my app. So let me go ahead and navigate to the Java folder here, because everything resides in the Java folder, by the way, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and click on Hello Activity, and this will open up the helloactivity.java file for me. If I were to navigate to, let's say, the Android manifest file, I could also view my Android manifest file. It shows me just the package name itself for right now, because this is important as we move along. Package name will become important, especially when you start to publish your apps and so forth. So this is just an example of your simple Hello World app that you can take a look at. So if I were to navigate back to helloactivity.java, this is the Java code behind the app itself. Now, of course, I can run this app and take a look at this in the emulator. So let me next demonstrate what this app actually would look like when I run this on my Android phone or the emulator. So this is, of course, the Java code, right? And it pulls up the activity hello. And then if I run this on my toolbar here, notice the play icon or run app. All I have to do is just click on this. This will bring up the virtual devices that I've configured so far. And I'm just going to pick any one of these. I'm going to pick the Nexus 5X API 26 version. Click OK. This will launch the AVD or the Android virtual device and the emulator itself. So once the emulator is launched, I will see the output of this particular Java code within my Android emulator. Perfect. So this is what it looks like. Hello activity, and I have the hello instant world, and then of course say goodbye, right? So I'm going to give it a few seconds before the emulator actually refreshes itself. And on the status bar, notice you'll see it says waiting for target device to come online. So it takes a little while before the emulator actually comes online and then displays the actual result of your output. And then the status bar kind of tells you uploading and launching. And eventually it launches. Perfect. So you have successfully installed a sample Hello World app and viewed it in the emulator. Now, one additional thing before I end this lesson, I would like to show you that you can also edit, of course, this app. So let me go ahead and close the emulator and quickly show you this as well. So I'm going to go ahead and close the emulator. I'm just going to save the state so that next time when it launches the emulator, it's going to bring up the saved state first before reflecting any changes. So you'll notice that within this code, Java code that I have, I could change the code itself, or I can bring up the actual XML file that displays the image view, my text view, and other elements that I change, maybe text itself. In order for me to locate the XML file, I'll have to find the file that's called activity_hello, and that's the file that I need to change, because the set content view is being set to the layout called activity hello. In order to do this, I would have to navigate to the left navigation pane here, and then click on the drop down arrow under Android and navigate to project. this is where I would see all of my files. So if I expand the my first hello world and then navigate to project files, right? That's where I will see all my files. So I'm going to go ahead and click on project files and then make sure you expand the main folder and then Java and then com.google Android instant app feature folder. And then you'll see the two Java classes. Under the resource folder, also known as the RES, there's a subfolder called layout. If you expand the layout folder, you will find the activity underscore hello.xml file. So if I were to open this file, this is what it looks like. So here, all I need to do is just change the name, for instance, and I can say something like hello my world. And notice we're using strings. So what that means is the value in this particular, or the attributes that are being associated with the text here is actually a string. It means I'm not hard coding my text. So if I need to change the text here from hello instant world to something else, it's always better to go to the strings folder and then change the text there, which will reflect in all instances wherever I use this at. Okay, and I've done a separate lecture on this. You can take a look at a lecture titled Do Not Hard Code, and that's a good practice, by the way, as developers. So let me go ahead and in fact navigate to that folder while I'm at it. Let me show you that. So under the values folder, if you expand the value, you'll see a XML file called styles. If I open styles, scroll down, and this is where you will find, or is it strings? I'm sorry, not the styles, but strings. So let me open up strings, scroll down, and this is where you'll see the hello instant world. Okay, so that's exactly where you would go about changing the text without affecting or hard coding your text. So I'm going to go ahead and say hello my first app world. So as soon as you make the changes, make sure you save it. You can do a Control S or run the build again by clicking on the app directly, run instant, or you can click on the build or make project. And what this would do is it will just reflect your changes and build the project before you run it in the emulator. But since we didn't do a whole lot of changes, we just changed the text. I'm going to go ahead and directly run this app again, bring up the emulator, look up the virtual devices, click OK, and once again on the bottom here you'll notice the build is going to run again. A couple of processes are running. It's going to open up the emulator. Since you notice the saved state shows up first, and then as soon as the Gradle build finishes, processes are complete, the app is refreshed, you'll see the changes reflected within the text. We'll just give it a couple seconds here, and it's just waiting for the target device to come online. As soon as it's online, you'll see the hello instant world change to the new text that we just wrote. There we go. So it's refreshing and perfect. So it's hello my first app world. Awesome. So now you notice you can actually change this aside, right, within the strings.xml and not actually hard coding it, right? So you change it in the string. So if I were to navigate back to my activity underscore hello XML file, notice the string name stays the same. So we're not hard coding directly into the XML file, rather we're using the strings.xml file to change the text. I hope this helped. I've shown you several new things here as well. Might as well show you this, right? Because this is important as you're installing and kind of editing and configuring your sample Hello World app. If you have any questions, post in the discussion area. I'll be glad to answer. With this, let's move to the next lesson.